Wow. Okay. Welcome to the JP8 report. This is James Pierce with the JP8 report, episode 344. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. This is James with the JP8 report. Appreciate everyone tuning in today. The Rob. Oh wow. Okay. So you want me to respond with a Texas flag along with everybody else? Let's do this. Okay. Texas flag on the way. Long live Texas. There we go. That's cool. What a way to get started this morning. Welcome everyone to the JPA report. It's Thursday afternoon. Um, as we get started, if you are watching and you are not yet a follower, whether you're live or Memorex, I mean video on demand, uh, click that follow button for me so you can be a follower of the JPA report. Be follower number 120. That would be great because we have 119 on here. And then click that like button. It's a thumbs up. Click that one, and you're welcome to chat with me. I got Rob Inter on here. He's my hall monitor. He likes to chat with people. Come on in there, enjoy, have fun with this. And if you feel like giving me a tip, you got the Rumble wallet right there. It's that little block clock tip. Go ahead and do some. But I'm good. But if you want, I just want people to listen to me and see what's going on in the world. All right. Let me hit refresh here. Oh, there we go. Need to make sure I'm live on TV. And I froze up for some reason. And let me go again here. Okay, I'm back. All right. So, yeah, here we go. JPA report. The one thing I just heard on the news just a minute ago was that Congressman Burgess Owens in Utah announced that he's going to retire at the end of his current term. I just heard that on there, and that might be because of the court mandated redistricted map that they're using in Utah, which was against what everybody wanted. Federal interference in elections. Judges have no say, should have no say so in how a district is mapped at, as long as it's not racially segregated, because that was absolutely wrong. All right, but he served a couple of terms in office. He took um, former Congresswoman Love's place. She just passed away a few months ago. So it's a Republican district, so it should stay in a Republican district. All right, so let's go to America 250 today in 1776 on March 5th, which was the 6th anniversary of the Boston Massacre. General Washington ordered Colonel Henry Knox to attack Boston with heavy artillery from captured artillery pieces from Fort Ticonderoga. Um, kind of a memory what had happened 6 years prior when I believe either 5 or 6 Bostonians was killed by British soldiers, and then and so that was this day in 1776 for America 250, and was so 12 days from now is when the British will be fully withdrawn from Boston. And then Texas 190, because this is the 190th anniversary of the Texas Revolution. This is the last full day of the siege of the Alamo. Tomorrow morning, in which I will talk about it tomorrow morning, is before daylight. Santa Anna ordered the rushing of the walls and the perimeter of the Alamo and to kill all the inhabitants. So that is what happened in San Antonio 190 years ago. Um, and if you ask, I still have my Alamo flag until tomorrow, and that's when I'll finally lower it and put the Texas flag back up. And another thing, if you noticed on my Rumble page, that my morning brief was the same title as yesterday afternoon's JP8 report, you are not seeing things. The saying said, save early, save often. Well, I use Rumble Studio, and I forgot to save my changes after I built this morning's podcast, and I failed to verify my work. Uh, when I was uploading up for the JPA report, I noticed, wait a minute, why did that say the JPA report? So I had to go back and fix it all. So it's all fixed. My mistake. Save early, save often, trust and verify, right? All right. One thing about my buddies at the Dalmatian Burgers, these guys are great. I'm going to show their stuff real quick while I talk. They're going to be, they announced this morning that they're doing a temporary closure to one of the owners. I had something medically go wrong, and they're going to close the grill for a few weeks. And they said they will be back. I'm probably going to lose weight by not going there to eat. But yeah, they're going to be gone for a little while. So I just want to let everybody know, if you're looking forward to eating at the Dalmatian and they're not there, it wasn't that they went out of business. There's medical stuff that they got to get taken care of. And let's hope that it's nothing really serious, and they'll be back serving the members of Copper's Cove in the very near future. All right. All right. So now onward to the JPA report. So yesterday, I talked about some soldiers. I talked about these guys right here, right? Uh, Captain Cody Cork and Sergeant First Class Nicole Armour, and then Sergeant First Class Noah Tations, and then Sergeant Declan Cody, about them all being identified as casualties in Kuwait from a drone attack from Iran. And there was two other personnel that were still pending because of notification the next of kin. All right. So that came out yesterday evening, I believe it was, about the other two. Let me go ahead and flip it. Yep, these are the other two. So it says here the last two names of the 6 soldiers that were killed in a drone strike at Command Center in Kuwait were released Wednesday by the Pentagon. They're from California and Iowa. The 2 soldiers identified Wednesday are Chief Warrant Officer Robert Marzan, 54, of Sacramento, California. He's the chief that's on the right-hand side of the screen. And Major Jeffrey O'Brien, 45, of Indianola, Iowa. And he's the one that's on the left, right? The 6 members of the Army Reserve who worked in logistics and kept troops supplied with food and equipment died Sunday when a drone hit a command center in Port Shuba, Kuwait, one day after the U.S. and Israel launched its military campaign against Iran. And Iran responded by launching missiles and drones against Israel and several Gulf Arab states that host U.S. armed forces. Okay, so now we know all 6 U.S. Army soldiers, all of them were NCOs, Chief Warrant Officer, and 2 officers. All right. And let's see if there's anything that needs else is put out about it. Nope. Okay, so keep their families in your prayers, and then hope that nothing else goes wrong with our mission, and that they're all taken care of. All right. Put that down there. All right. So we got that done. Now next we got the Iran update. So if you didn't listen this morning, we have Operation Epic Fury, illegal American flag in the in the live chat if to remember the those soldiers that all gave their lives. Okay, if you don't mind leaving the American flag in it. Uh, so Operation Epic Fury in the Israeli version is called Operation Roaring Lion. Hold on, we got breaking news. Oh, cool. All right. Speaker Mike Johnson just urged GOP Representative Tony Gonzalez to drop his reelection bid amid his scandal. He has So in West Texas, you have Tony Gonzalez. He had an affair with one of his staffers, and she actually killed herself last year. And he's asking him not to run for reelection and give the election over to Brandon Herrera, right? Just so you know, that was breaking news just now. Uh, like I said, if it comes over my watch and we're in here, I stop and I'm going to tell you exactly what comes over. All right. Uh, did you hear that, Rob? Um, I'm speaking to Rob through the camera so he can answer me on the live chat. Uh, okay, so we have Operation Epic Fury and Operation Roaring Lion. Uh, the War Powers Resolution that was voted in the Senate yesterday failed 53 to 47. One Republican voted in the with the Democrats, and one Democrat voted with the Republicans. That would be Senator Rand Paul and then Senator John Fetterman. All right. The House is voting on it today. I said it will fail. It should fail. You never really can tell with these guys up in D.C. But nevertheless, if it did pass, the president's just going to veto it. So um, take it as it may. The president, the speaker may just let everyone vote the way they want, or instead of whipping up the vote. But yeah, I think it'll fail anyway. Because I don't think there's a lot of Democrats out there that would actually set the country up for failure by voting against the president over and over and over again. All right. Uh, Due to an attack on Cyprus, the U.S. now can use United Kingdom bases, England. That would be on in United Kingdom and in Diego Garcia. We'll talk about that in just a few minutes. Uh, Trump bans all trade with Spain over their refusal to let us use bases in Spain itself. Uh, Israel is deploying troops inside of Lebanon to prevent the Hezbollah from continuing to launch rockets and launch raids from the inside of southern Lebanon. Uh, they also announced there's 5,000 bombs have been dropped on 2,000 targets since the beginning of the operations. Iraqi Kurds have attacked inside of northwestern Iran, and you're like, why is Iraq doing? Why are the Kurds doing that? Because historically, Kurdistan uh, was part of Turkey, part of Iraq, and part of Iran. All right, right as of right now, they're like three distinctive, different groups of Kurds, but they're all one family. And thanks to the end of World War One, when you have colonial powers like France and England, they went about and divided up the Middle East the way they thought it should look. That's why you see so many straight lines and stuff around the borders of countries inside the Middle East, like Lebanon and Jordan and Saudi Arabia. They all have look like man-made borders and stuff there, right? Not Iraq and Iran because they got mountains and stuff. They don't have a straight line there, but they're majority like Iran is majority Shia and Iraq is majority Sunni, right? But so they somehow for some strange reason decided to separate the Kurds into 3 different countries, maybe to diminish their power they had over the countries in the vicinity. But that's what they did. So maybe they're just trying to reconnect with people on the inside of Iran, maybe doing some raids or trying to absorb some territory for them. All right, but that's what's going on there. The Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, is going to CENTCOM today for a briefing in Mendel Air Force Base, and there's going to be votes in the House and the Senate to overcome the partial government shutdown, which only affects the Department of Homeland Security with Secret Service, TSA, and the Coast Guard. I think those are the only 3 parts of DHS that's not fully funded, and but they say it will pass in the House, but in the Senate, it's the same thing again. They're going to filibuster. They're going to do a gentleman's filibuster where they say, I'm planning the filibuster. Might as well not have a cloture vote because it won't pass cloture. I'm in league with, if you're going to filibuster, you stay there and you talk, right? But so they're expecting the vote to fail in the Senate. So as of right now, that's the rundown on what's happening inside of Operation Epic Fury. If you have any other updates for me, let me know. The only thing I got is Speaker Johnson telling Tony Gonzalez the drop from the what do you call it? The runoff here in Texas. All right. So as I was saying, we have stealth bombers landing at UK bases in days after Trump pressures Starmer. All right, it's a two-way. It's a two-way venture here. Hold on, just a second here. Oh, yeah, there we go. All right, so American stealth bombers are expected to land at the UK military bases within days to join U.S.-Israel campaign against Iran, according to reports citing unnamed senior Western officials. The Telegraph reported Wednesday that air bases at Diego Garcia in the Indian Ocean and RAF Fairford in Gloucester, I think that's how you pronounce it, are being ready for the arrival of B-2 Spirit stealth bombers. The $2 billion strategic bomber is known as the world's most expensive aircraft. The bombers are understood to be landing at the UK bases in a matter of days as Washington intensifies operations in the region. As previously reported by Fox News, the U.S. military used stealth B-2s to strike Iranian ballistic missile facilities on February 28th as part of the launch of Operation Epic Fury. U.S. CENTCOM confirmed that the B-2 stealths, which are equipped with 2,000-pound bombs, struck hardened Iranian ballistic missile sites. The U.S. was cleared to use the British bases for limited strikes on Iranian missile capabilities on February 29th, after Prime Minister Keir Starmer signed off on the plan, while the UK Defence Secretary, should be Minister John Healey, stated Britain had stepped up alongside of the Americans. Starmer said authorization was granted to protect UK and U.S. Allies as the conflict escalated. He had previously said he would not allow American forces to use UK bases for offensive operations in the region. Tensions have been heightened by the UK by security incidents on Cyprus. RAF Akurati, a key British military base on the island, was struck by a suspected drone on March 2nd, causing minor damage. I was going to mention that, but the article said it anyway. A drone struck the island and RAF base themselves. Now, the cool thing, and it's probably going to mention in the rest of this article, I'll go ahead and finish. The unmanned aircraft was reported to resemble an Iranian-made Shahad drone, similar to models used by Russia in Ukraine and by Tehran's regional proxies. The Minister of Defense, they got it right that time, said force protection measures were at the highest levels and the base had taken steps to defend personnel. About 4,000 service members and their families are based at RAF Arkarati. The State Department raised its travel advisory for Cyprus to level 3, urging Americans to reconsider travel because of the threat of armed conflict and limited consular assistance in parts of the country. Non-emergency staff and family members are authorized to leave, and officials said the advisory change reflected adjustments in embassy operations rather than a direct underlying risk. So the good thing about, let me read this. Trump has also, okay, never mind. So the good thing about using Diego Garcia is like in the central part of the Indian Ocean. It's a vast, shorter distance to fly from Diego Garcia to Iran than it is to fly from Whiteman Air Force Base in Missouri all the way to Iran and back. That is why it's a 37-hour round trip from Missouri to Iran. Then you got to give your cruise time to rest. Then fly again, 37-hour round trip. So what you're doing is you're getting less time on station to drop your ordnance than it is from Diego Garcia and go back. Okay, it's a lot faster. It's probably a 12-hour round trip instead of a 37-hour round trip. All right. So that being said, we're already at 12:23. All right. Thank y'all for tuning in today. Don't forget to hit the follow button and the like button. Next story I wanted to go over is Condoleezza Rice. Former Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice calls on Trump admin to take care of Iran for good. When I worked for the White House Communications back in the early 2000s, she was a very impressive, secretive person to talk with while when I was stationed there. That was really good. Former U.S. Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice described the Trump administration's Operation Epic Fury as an attempt to neuter Iran's military power inside and beyond its borders, including its apparent ties to Hezbollah. Joining Special Report Wednesday, Rice praised U.S.-Israeli joint strikes against Iran that killed Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, while emphasizing the operation does not mark the beginning of a new war. Iran has been at war with us for 47 years. If you ask about Iraq, what was the source of many of our casualties in Iraq, you'll get estimates as high as 75 or 80% of them were due to Iranian-made roadside bombs. I've said it several times on this podcast. I know at least 4 people that died by roadside bombs, right? I can't remember this other guy right now, but he's a captain. No, he's a Major Rogers, and then Captain Norman, and then PFC Hicks, and then a sergeant with the 10th Mountain Division that died while doing route clearance. So that's 4 people right there. All right. Let's see. Rice, who has served as National Security Advisor and Secretary of State for former President George W. Bush during 9/11 and the Iraq War, said Iran has expanded military capability through its reach of international terrorist groups. They also have developed the military capability to reach outside the boundaries of Iran, including Hezbollah and Hamas, which they both arm and equip. 6 American soldiers have been killed, 20 Iranian ships have been struck and sunk, which also utilized more than 50,000 troops, 200 fighters, 2 aircraft carriers, according to CENTCOM. Yesterday, well, how much more of this is there? I'll get on that in just a second. To say that this regime was not a threat is hysterical, Rice said. They have been a threat for a long time. One goal of Operation Epic Fury, she said, is to strip Iran of its military capabilities and ability to coordinate with the proxy groups like Hamas and Hezbollah. If you render Iran essentially incapable of military action against us and against our allies, that's worthy, Rice told Fox News. And I think that they're going to do this to neuter Iran as a military power in the region. So, what was I going to say? I should have told y'all that right when. Oh man, I can't remember now. It was something about what I was reading. Oh, okay. Like my dad used to tell me, if you can't remember what you said, it probably wasn't worth being repeated. All right? All right. So I was telling you a while ago about Burgess Owens retiring from Congress in January. The next one, the one that happened yesterday afternoon, was Steve Daines. Senator Steve Daines has been a senator for almost 12 years in the state of Montana. And yesterday, just before 5 p.m., he withdrew his name from the Elections Commission in Montana for a re-election after Kurt Alme put his name in the ring to primary him for the same office. President Trump said that Steve Daines is a very good Republican, very big supporter, but I guess Steve Daines didn't have it in him to run another election campaign against someone else. So to save time and money, he withdrew his name from consideration. All right. Which is all right. But, the president has someone that worked on with him that he's promoting to get to be elected from the state of Montana, as long as it stays in Republican hands. That's all that matters. Steve Daines, Republican from Montana, will not seek re-election. Okay. Well, man, another one. Okay. Will not seek re-election. Opting to lead the Senate. Senator Steve Daines will not seek re-election, opting to lead the Senate just minutes before Wednesday's filing deadline in the state treasury. 3 sources confirmed to Fox News Digital. Montana senior senator is serving his second term and is widely expected to secure a third in the big sky country, where President Donald Trump won by nearly 20 points in 2024. He previously served 2 terms in the House before making the leap to the upper chamber. Daines played a key role during that election cycle as chair of the National Republican Senatorial Committee, helping Republicans gain the majority in the upper chamber. He also backed Tim Sheehy, he's the junior senator from Montana, in a grueling race against former Senator John Tester, helping the GOP secure a unified control in Washington. The lawmakers said in a video statement that after much careful thought, I've decided not to seek re-election. He thanked his wife Cindy and noted that for the last 13 years, she has selflessly dropped me off at the airport at 5 a.m. on most Mondays for that commute back to D.C. And together, Cindy and I look forward to the next chapter like cherishing moments with 7 grandchildren, spending a bit more time in Montana, and continuing to make a difference. With Daines set to leave the Senate, Republicans now look to hold the seat. Montana's primary election is scheduled for June 2nd. Where's John Dutton, right? Of Montana U.S. Attorney Kurt Almy filed just minutes before Daines withdrew from the race, according to the Montana Secretary of State. Earlier Wednesday, former University of Montana President Seth Bodnar entered the race as an independent. Trump wasted no time lauding Daines and swiftly backing Almy in a post on Truth Social. And we got breaking news. Austin police released video of suspected terror attack. Okay. We already heard that this morning. The DA in that race actually said that he supports not charging the Austin police officers with shooting the assailant. They were doing their job. This is another Soros-backed district attorney. We even have him in Texas too. This one's name is I can't remember what his name is. Not very important. We just need to get him unelected. Let's see. Okay. Steve Daines of Montana is truly a great U.S. Senator. He honorably served 12 years in the Senate and 2 in the House of Representatives. He did a job like few others are capable of doing, but sadly for our country, Steve's term is up, and he has decided to leave the Senate and pass the torch to Kurt Almy, my Trump 45 and Trump 47 U.S. attorney. 3 Democrats are also running on the opposite side of the primary field. Alani Bankhead, Really Neal, and Michael Blackwolf. A spokesman for the Senate Democrats campaign arm, the Democratic Senatorial Campaign Committee told Fox News in a statement that Republican midterm prospects are so bleak in 2026, yet another senator is running for the hills. Steve Daines is joining more and more of his colleagues, is deciding to throw in the towel rather than defend his toxic record. If it said, this is the latest flashing warning sign to all GOP senators. Your jobs are not safe. Retire or lose. That's funny that they named it as a job because it's a service, not a job. Too many of these politicians think you should stay there until your bones come out of your skin. You get so old. People leave office like Burgess Owens served 2 terms and he left. Okay, that's admirable. We just had a guy right here in Central Texas said if he was elected, he would only serve 2 terms and he was gone. They're imposing self-terminating term limits to keep the people from making it a career. All right. If you only serve 2 terms, that means you don't get to serve that 5th year and then be able to collect a congressional pension, which should not even happen in the first place. All right. So if you're in Montana, the guy you look to is Kurt Almy for the next senator inside the state of Montana. All right. All right. Let's see. Supreme Court. I don't know if y'all heard about this, but the Supreme Court had another decision yesterday. The cool thing about it was a 9-0 decision in favor of President Trump. You don't see a whole lot of them right now, but this was 9-0 dealing with amnesty for people inside the United States. If you're proud of what the Supreme Court did with the 9-0 ruling for President Trump, put an American flag in it, or just say something in the chat. Let us know how you feel about the whole thing, because that's a remarkable achievement, especially when it comes to immigration. Uh, and they let Justice Jackson write the majority decision for the case itself, right? So put an American flag in the chat for us, right? Um, Justice Jackson authorized the Supreme Court unanimous ruling Wednesday ordering federal appeals courts to defer to immigration judges when reviewing asylum decisions, bolstering the executive branch's authority in immigration cases and handing the Trump administration a win as it pushes an aggressive deportation agenda. Jackson, a Biden or Autopin appointee and one of three liberal justices on the High Court, wrote that immigration laws require federal courts to use substantial evidence standard when reviewing immigration judges' decisions about whether an asylum seeker could face persecution if deported. Jackson emphasized that the high bar courts must. Let me say it again. Jackson emphasized the high bar courts must meet before overturning an immigration judge's findings, potentially making it more difficult for immigrants to challenge their deportations as the Trump administration cracks down on illegal immigration. The agency's determination is generally conclusive unless any reasonable adjudicator could be compelled to conclude that to the contrary, Jackson wrote. All right. Under the Immigration and Nationality Act, migrants can claim asylum when crossing the border without documentation. But immigration judges who are employees of the Justice Department eventually vet those claims and determine whether to grant migrants asylum, which would allow them to stay in the country or order deportation. Migrants can appeal the decision to the Board of Immigrant Appeals, which also housed within the executive branch, and can be appealed that decision to the federal circuit courts and the Supreme Court. The decision in this case, Urias Oriella versus Bondi, affirmed that the judicial branch must largely defer to the executive branch's findings about whether the migrant would suffer persecution if deported, rather than start from scratch and conduct its own review. It's another win for common sense. The conservative think tank America First Policy Institute wrote on X. The U.S. Supreme Court unanimously ruled that immigration agencies, not individual judges, determines asylum claims based on alleged persecution. A clear reminder: America's laws should be enforced as written. The case centered on asylum cases made by Douglas Uberto, Urias Orianola, and his wife and child, all of whom were Salvadoran nationals who entered the country illegally in 2021 and then applied for asylum. After an immigration judge denied their application and ordered the removal, the Board of Immigration Appeals and the U.S. Court of Appeals for the First Circuit Court upheld the immigration judge's decision. The Urias had argued that a sicaro or hitman had targeted him since 2016 after shooting two of his half-brothers and vowing to kill family members. The immigration judge found him credible, but said the threats and incidents he described did not establish a valid fear of future persecution. The Supreme Court was tasked with reviewing whether the First Circuit examined the immigration judge's decision thoroughly enough, and the High Court concluded the First Circuit rightly leaned heavily on immigration judge's determination. So, um, as you're looking at this case, you have a lot of people for economic reasons illegally cross into the United States. But if you cross for economic reasons, you're going to get deported almost instantly, right? But if you come over and claim asylum, then you got to go through a whole process to be able to stay inside the United States. And then they would use the court system, and eventually the Department of Justice would just give up, and the people would stay here for decades, right? And then cause problems. I'm not saying they all cause problems, but you have people that cause problems. But that was a 9-0 decision from the Supreme Court. All right. 1242. Now, this is the one that really irritated me and where I got the name of today's title for the podcast. I was on the Virginia Mercury. Okay, that's a newspaper in Virginia, right? And there's a bill that has passed the Virginia legislature, the Senate and the House versions, and on its way to the Secretary General. The governor of Virginia. So the Secretary General, Abigail Spangarden, or whatever her name is, has to review it, and she's probably going to sign it because she's so liberal and communistic. That's what they do. They rewrite history, right? The Soviets did it. Why not? Why not Spanberger? So the bill was to require in all Virginia schools the factual teaching of the January 6th attack in Washington, D.C. That's what they say, right? So Virginia lawmakers, so this is the indoctrination of our kids flat out, right? Because you have revisionist historians, after what's really known, they go back and rewrite it. Virginia lawmakers on Monday passed a proposal that would require schools, if they teach students about the violent attack on the U.S. Capitol on January 6, 2021, to relay the facts of what actually happened, without including misinformation that the 2020 presidential election was stolen or the attack was just a peaceful protest. Since both Senate and the House advanced the measure, if Governor Abigail Spanberger or the Secretary General, it would take effect immediately and would dictate what and how Virginia public schools can instruct pupils regarding the Capitol attack, a major political event in the country's recent history. The attack, waged by supporters of then Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump, he was the president, not the nominee, in response to the Congress certifying that Joe Biden had won the election, had wide-ranging impacts on law enforcement, public discourse about democracy, and the ongoing institutional, legal, and social repercussions. The last time I checked, I watched that speech from my living room, and it said peacefully and patriotically. It didn't say storm the building and destroy everything in sight and pillage and plunder the entire area. He did not say it. He said peacefully and patriotically go to the Capitol. All right. The real concern of the President of the United States is trying to rewrite the history of January 6th. That is, some out of the knowledge of there's a whitehouse.gov site that presents a false history of what happened. The House Bill 333 sponsor Delegate Dan Helmer of Fairfax said to the Mercury earlier during the session. Now, don't send no hate mail to me because I don't agree with what this guy said. Remember, his name is Dan Helmer. He's a delegate from Fairfax. So send him all your letters of concern, all right? Because the only violence I saw was the fact that a Capitol police officer stuck a weapon through a hole in a door without verifying what was on the other side and shot an unarmed Air Force veteran named Ashley Babbitt and killed her. That was the only person that died on January 6th of 2021. So if I'm wrong, let me know I'm wrong, but I know I'm not, right? She was the only person killed that day. What else? We just want to make sure that if schools choose to teach on January 6th, they are not presenting the false narrative that is out there. So Helmer's bill does not ban schools from teaching about January 6th. Instead, it requires a specific framing and bars presenting alternative interpretations or election fraud claims as credible in public schools. Despite the seeming consensus in the legislature, the bill drew some opposition from the public. The Virginia Assembly of Independent Baptists argued that it lacks educational value and pushed a left-wing narrative. I fully agree with that. The leftists are pushing this because they want to put their socialist view of history out there for our kids to absorb and become socialists themselves, right? I don't know that I agree that it is necessary to take up one of the darkest days in American history to teach our young people and glorify that our young people, when adults act badly. Michael Huffman, the Assembly's executive director, during the Senate subcommittee on February 19th, true education equips children for life, not political agendas, in glorifying and mandating. The dark day serves only a short-sighted partisanship, not our kids' future. Another speaker who opposed the legislation called it yet another reason why everyone in the Commonwealth should pull their children from public education. She said it on January 27th. And then she said this is explicit indoctrination, which is exactly true. Now they're saying that Abigail Spanberger may not sign this bill, but I would say that she is. And I don't know what the time limit is, how much time they give the governor. It does not say whatsoever. In Texas, the governor has 20 days to sign legislation. If he doesn't, it automatically becomes law unless he vetoes it, right? I'm saying the president said peacefully and patriotically go to the Capitol. And what we've seen over and over again, and it's been coming to light, there was a lot of election interference and improprieties that took place in the 2020 election. All right. What did I do with my pencil? Okay. The caveat into that also is our favorite president, Barack Obama, not. He came out and endorsed Virginia's redistricting constitutional amendment that could help Dems gain 4 seats. Former President Barack Obama on Thursday endorsed, I printed this off first thing this morning, came out and endorsed Democrats' redistricting effort in Virginia that could grant the party 4 additional seats in the House of Representatives. Virginia is one of several states engaged in a nationwide redistricting battle ahead of the 2026 midterm elections. So far, Obama has thrown his weight behind Democrat initiatives in both California and now Virginia. Oh my goodness, really? This Department of Homeland Security, uh, Kristi Noem was just fired. Oh my goodness. That is pure breaking news. Hold on just a second. I'm stopping with that right now. Just a second. Hold on. Give me a second here. Refresh. Come on. Breaking news. Okay. Oh man. Hey Norm. Hey Rob, I'm having a hard time getting onto this uh, live stream real quick. Uh, Tell me, who did the president announce that um, he was nominating to replace Kristi Noem? He is tapping a senator for replacement. President Trump on Thursday announced Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem will be leaving her role in his first cabinet shakeup of his second term. Trump announced the move after growing outrage by Noem's testimony in Congress this week that he approved $220 million in ads featuring former South Dakota governor. I'm pleased to announce, oh my goodness, this is awesome news. I am pleased to announce that a highly respected United States Senator from the great state of Oklahoma, Mark Wayne Mullen, will become the United States Secretary of Homeland Security effective March 31st, 2026. He wrote that on Truth Social. The current Secretary Kristi Noem, who has served us well and has numerous and spectacular results, especially on the border, will be moving to be special envoy for the Shield of the Americas, our new security initiative in the Western Hemisphere. We are announcing on Saturday in Doral, Florida. I thank Kristi for her service at Homeland. And Trump indicated the remainder of his statement to praising Mark Wayne Mullen. Oh my goodness, that is great. Man, my wife is in Oklahoma. She would probably be ecstatic. She's in the other room. I'm not leaving to go tell her. I'll tell her when I come off the air. That is unbelievable. It doesn't look like he just flat out fired her. He replaced her with Senator Mullen and given her another job in the administration. So it's not like uh, who was that senator from Alabama in the first term that he was the attorney general for President Trump, and he got fired and got replaced. And his name, I cannot remember who it was, but yeah, he got fired and got sent home packing with his tail between his legs. And I cannot remember who it is. Man, my watch is just vibrating. Well, everyone's saying Trump fired her, but she's saying it in administration, so I don't see how she's being fired. But Mark Wayne Mullen is a very good uh, selection for the president. That is really good. That means there's going to be, wonder who the replacement's going to be for Mark Wayne Mullen in Oklahoma. Man, um, I'm sure we're going to find out really fast. I mean, oh my goodness. Wonder if the governor is going to appoint himself as senator, and they'll have to appoint a new governor in the state of Oklahoma. That tends to happen sometimes, right? Wow, that is unbelievable. Wow, you talk about. So I'm on the air. I'm breaking news, national news on the air with people. That is Unbelievable. Wow. Thanks a lot, Rob, for letting me know. I'm on now. Uh, that is something else. So let's see. I refresh. Uh, man. Wow. FBI announces arrest of contractor who allegedly looted $46 million from feds. Wow. That's a lot of money. All right. So, what we were talking about before we got started talking about Department of Homeland Security was that let me go back to Rumble Studio so I don't lose track of where I'm at. Um, all right, so Barack Hussein Obama um, has endorsed the new Virginia redistricting constitutional amendment, which polls are supposed to open tomorrow. I don't know if it's still going forward, but um, the election day is April 21st. It should. This is unconstitutional. I don't see how they're doing it, but you need to vote against it. You need to vote against it. This was totally unconstitutional. There are time limits and that are listed inside the Constitution uh, of Virginia, dictating when and where you can go on when you do legislation for ballot initiatives, and they violate them. And then I wouldn't listen to Obama in the first place. I don't know why they're doing that, but I guess they think they can garner support through him. All right. Uh, so I got two more right there. Let's see. I talked about that. Britney Spears got arrested for a DUI last night. If you didn't know that, just so you know, it's a toxic situation. All right. Um, I hope someone caught the pun on that one. Okay, so talking about local politics real quick, we had a primary the other day. Like I was saying, the speaker is asking Tony Gonzalez to drop his his reelection bid and let Brandon Herrera over in Uvalde, I'm sorry, let him be the Republican nominee after the affair stuff came out that he finally admitted to. And then also, so locally elections and stuff that are ongoing. Uh, the We have early voting that's way out in May. We're like 82 days from the runoff election. So the early vote will be the 17th through the 22nd of May, and the runoff election day is the 26th of May. Now, if you're still haven't filed your campaign finance reports, they are due from the 22nd of February to the 16th of May, and they're due on the 18th of May. So if you've got campaign finance reports, they're due on that one, especially if you're in the runoff election. All right. Uh, so, man, we're already been an hour. I just soaked up some stuff from Rob. If you're still listening, and I'm sure you are because you're answering me on the live chat. Besides, if y'all agree with President Trump's decision to go into appoint Mark Wayne Mullen, the senator from Oklahoma, as the new Department of Homeland Security, give me an American flag. I don't have an Oklahoma flag in there. Maybe that's something I should try to see if I can put in there to satisfy my wife since she's from Tulsa. Uh, Put an American flag in the live chat because you support our president of the United States. All right. Uh, so I got one more thing I'm going to do before I close out. Um, and give me a second here. I just want to do something real quick. I want to read about Rumble Premium. Okay, so give me that honor of doing that. Let me get it all signed up. Okay, ready? Here we go. You've probably noticed Rumble is growing fast and is not slowing down. They're building a real alternative to big tech that puts creators first and actually protects free speech. And now there's Rumble Premium, an easy way to upgrade your experience. With Premium, you get ad-free viewing across the platform, no pre-rolls, no interruptions, just the content you came for. Plus, premium members unlock exclusive content like bonus videos, behind the scenes drops, and more from your favorite creators. Right now, Rumble is offering $10 off an annual subscription. Just go to rumble.com premium and use the promo code STUDIO at checkout. That's rumble.com/premium, promo code STUDIO. That's STUDIO. No ads, more freedom, and content you can actually care about. That's the deal. All right. Thank y'all for letting me do that. I've been using, as a personal testimony, I've been using Rumble Premium for about 6 years now. I think, yeah, about 6 years. So I love it. You can tell me I'm on the creator program with Rumble, but I do this every single day, and I like it. I can listen to people like Graham Allen when I want to, because he got a call-in program, and then you got Crowder Louder with Crowder that has um, a premium program. But that's how you do it. They do like me. I like to read stuff like Declaration of Independence and parts of stuff out of the Constitution and really good political juicy stuff. Which tomorrow I'm going to start doing some. Uh, I'm going to do some premium stuff also to start doing my, because I got to do 5 hours of premium a month in the creator program. So I got to start doing that, and I'm looking forward to it. Right. I would like for some people to comment in the chat besides Rob, but that's cool. He's a great guy. So I talked a little bit about this. And one thing I want to talk about before we do our ending stuff, right, is here in Texas, we just had our primary election, right? The president is rumored that he's going to have an endorsement of one of the two remaining senator nominees or candidates. That'd be John Cornyn, 74 years old. And then you have Ken Paxton. I don't know how old he is. Um, the Yay, cool. Okay, that gives me the go ahead. Um, and Ken Paxton. I personally want Ken Paxton. I wanted Wesley Hunt, but he's not in the runoff because they only take the top two Republicans. So it's John Cornyn versus Ken Paxton. And I honestly think the president needs a fighter in the United States Senate, and um, that's who I plan to vote for. Okay. Uh, locally, we have. Locally, we have our county judges. We have a couple of county commissioners that are in a runoff, and I just want to talk about one. All right, because and I'm going to record a short part of this for him. We have a candidate. He's been on a school board. He took a leap of faith to run for county judge. I think that he would do a really good job on being our county judge. All right. So give me a second here, and I'm going to just talk about him really quick. Hello, this is James Pierce with the JP8 report, and I want to openly endorse and say I am going to vote for Rob Irwin for Corio County judge on May 26th runoff election here in Corio County, Texas, and I would like to open it up for the rest of the citizens in Coppers Cove and Corio County that are Republicans and can vote in the Republican primary for him to be your next county judge. Thank you. Thank you so much for listening to me. All right. So that is my endorsement for Rob Irwin for county judge. I fully support him. That's why I did that. I know the two other county commissioner races, and all four of them would like me to do that for them. Uh, all four of them. So in seat 2, there's Scott Weddle and Toby Meyer. Both of them I put on my highly recommended list. And then on County Commissioner seat number 4, you have Ray Ashby and Justin Smith. And both of them, gentlemen, were on my highly recommended list too. So, and I can't even vote for them two guys because I'm in precinct 1. So I really got to think about this if I want to issue an endorsement because I like all four of them. I think all four of them would be great. I just got to figure out who would be best to represent their precincts in Coryell County, or roll the dice and let them battle it out, and may the best man get elected, right? I say that because there's only men in the race now because Tiffany Butler didn't make the runoff, right? But we'll see. We'll see. So if you're looking for me on my socials, let's do this. You can find me on X at James Pierce Jr. And you can find me on Facebook at James A. Pierce Jr. You can find me on YouTube at the JP8 Report 67. You can find me on True Social at James A. Pierce. And you can send me an email at the JP8report at gmail.com. All right. Thank you very much for letting me talk to y'all today. I really appreciate that. That's shocking news. I don't even think my wife is watching a friend of ours' son, so she doesn't even have the news on it. And I'm going to tell her in just a minute, and she's probably going to be shocked, right? So we shall see. Oh, you know what? Who would be a good senator from the state of Oklahoma? T.W. Shannon. Oh my goodness. Hey Rob, are you still on? If you are, do you think Shannon, he used to be the Speaker of the Oklahoma House, and I believe he used to be the chair of the Cherokee Nation in Oklahoma. Do you think he would be a good replacement for Senator Mark Wayne Mullen in Oklahoma? All right. Either that or call me in a couple minutes when I get off the air. Wow, that is awesome news that we got today. So let me go ahead and sign off and get this day going. The rest of the day, I got some work I got to do. I got to eat some lunch too. All right. So this is James Pierce of the JPA Report. I will see y'all tomorrow morning with JP's morning brief at 6:30 Central. I'll have more news about this breaking news about Homeland Security. So I will catch you on the flip side. I'm out.